this is where I'm supposed to now move into questions. What kind of things have you seen, with Bio 800? Any of you guys have? Is this one of your pictures on the call here? Anybody?
Yeah, that's my picture.
They're all Bryan's. So tell us about it, Bryan. What do you see here?
Well, we did a lot of meeting up with the farmers, making sure that they understood, just on year one, without any cutback, what we were seeing out there. The farmer here, I think this field ended up 17, 18 bushel better side by side. You can obviously see the difference here, but very happy farmer that did 500 acres last year, absolutely all in this year. So yeah, this is him picking all these years. And then we just picked 7 or 8 years in a row where we're at, and then just go over where we didn't treat, and this is what we found.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Tim, what kind of things? I'm sorry, Bryan.
This was a lighter soil farmer, so this is probably like that 55 to 60 CSR dirt, so lighter soil. Said he's never raised corn like this with the 800. So
that's cool. Do you see a difference?
He also put all of his ground. He's all no-till, so he covered all 1,000 acres or 1,200 acres that he farms with the fall product. Coming back with the spring product, he's super excited. Yeah,
that's great. So Tim, tell us some of the things that you're seeing out in the field as you've used the product. Now you're using on organic and conventional. Is that right, Tim?
Right. Yep. Mostly conventional, but I got a partial pivot that's organic as well. That's where it got me interested. Was I actually had a yield on something where a lot of it's been fighting weeds and compaction and all this stuff that it. When I put the Holganix down, left some strips back and forth, it's like there was a wave in the field. You could see exactly where it was and where it wasn't. There was 18 inches difference in corn height 2 years ago. Yield, it's with organic, I'm talking maybe 2 bushels better, but when the field average is 50, it's amazing. So that was certainly like, okay, there's something different. So I put that on my conventional, and like this picture here, I put it on my sandiest field. It was pasture. It never should have been broken out from sand. And the one half of it yielded 50 bushels better than it's ever done before this first year with Holganix. I just tried it to say, I'm not changing anything. Let's see if this is another one of those snake oils. I'd seen it on the organic. Okay, it looks like it's doing better. What does it do on my conventional? And I'm not kidding. I was shocked. Honestly, 50 bushels better. Obviously, I know we can't advertise it that way, but I was really excited at that point to say, all right, let's try it on everything else, and let's just leave a strip out of my field because I want my stinking yield to go up. This year, I cut back my nitrogen 25%. I normally put about 200 pounds of N. I put 150 down this year. Still the same yields or better. I think 2015, I was just looking at my records, 2015, I had 2 fields that yielded better than this year. But in 2015, we also had about 3 times the amount of rain that we had this year. Even with irrigation, that still makes a heck of a difference, because I can tell you my irrigation bill was probably 3 times what it was in 2015 also. But yeah, this year probably 2, 3, 5 bushels better on overall field by field. But yeah, when I saw that on the sand, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of sand out here. I can talk to a few guys about this, because you'll be amazed, and I certainly was.
Yeah, and that's cool. And we like to use it. If you're going to just try it out, we want you to use it on your worst ground first. Not a lot of people say that. They all want to get on your cherry ground, but we see great improvements on great ground. And Bryan can tell you all about that, where he's at in Iowa. They're growing 300 bushel corn, and he's seeing a benefit. But we also, if you put us on your worst ground, whether it's heavy or light, but the least productive ground, that's where we're going to see the biggest percentage gains. And because a lot of times those soils are lacking so much. You getting ready to say something, Bryan?
Yeah, one of the biggest thing I seen was on my beans. There was a 9 in front of it on the monitor, and I have absolutely never been in 90 bushel beans. So I think 93, 94, I videoed it all the way across the field. We're talking about 150 acre field. I sat there and videoed it the whole way across the field, and it went from 88 to 93.
That's awesome.
It was unbelievable.
And what's typical ground doing out? I mean, you got great ground, period, but what's typical ground doing out there?
Well, like I said, I've been farming for 20 years now, and 65 bushel beans and 185 bushel corn. I mean, over the average forever. So my dad was talking about 60 bushel beans, 30 years ago. And one reason why I, looked into the Holganix is, we didn't make anywhere in the last 30 years. We're still at 60 bushel beans. So there's got to be something out there. There's got to be a reason, because we're putting more at it and getting the same. So, to see a 9 in front of it, unbelievable. And we went 6 weeks without water. So August 4th, we got a rain, and I think that fuel is about 11 bushel better on the beans. 11 bushel times 15, I think you can afford to put $20 down.
Yeah, right. Put some money in your pocket, for
bet.
Sure. Taylor, we had Tim talk about some of his nutrient reductions. How have you seen efficiency with nutrients with how you've been using the product?
Yeah, I mean, like edible beans, we're virtually just putting a little bit of nitrogen down, and we're pulling off some 3,000, 2,500, up to 3,800, pound beans, and I don't know if you have that on the slide, but that time I showed you that navy plant, we're looking for white mold, and it was over 6 feet tall. The plant I pulled up, it was huge.
Yeah, I don't think we used that picture. We should have, but that was super neat.
Never seen it in my life, and I don't think anyone has that, but it was just happened. I found it when I was looking for white mold.
And that's a great point there, Taylor. So have you seen Holganix Bio 100 help slow down white mold in your on your operation?
Yeah, I mean, I spray probably, am I irrigated twice, but I haven't had really. I mean, I pulled off, like I said, 3,800 pound edibles, and I mean, it's always good to have a little white mold because that means you get a big crop. But when it starts eating the pods is when you have the issue. But anyways, no, I mean, I'm in 30-inch rows, and I mean, it's been doing really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's a good point. So we're not an EPA controlled pesticide. So we're not sitting here telling you that we stop fungus and disease problems. But here's what I will tell you is we help create suppressive soils. And what's a suppressive soil? It's when the good guys outnumber the bad guys, so that the beneficial microbes take up the space that the pathogens could potentially spread in. Then we see less damage from any of our pathogens. We seem to see white mold specifically. You can see a tremendous reduction in that, but other fungus and disease problems as well. We even see less insect damage. Again, we're not stopping insects, we're not killing insects, but what we do is create a healthier plant that the insects don't do as much damage to, and frankly seem to move away from for a variety of reasons that scientifically I could get into, but we'll just keep things simple. We'll just keep moving.